Hi, I'm Chris Raybon from the Action Network here with Kyle Remillard and Darin Gardner. And today we're going to debate who should be the top wide receiver taken in the 2021 NFL draft. Should it be Devonta Smith, Jaylen Waddle, or Jamar Chase? Kyle, I'm going to kick it to you first.
Well, Jamar Chase is minus 800 at BetMGM to be the first wide receiver taken in the draft. So I feel like that speaks to him being the most complete and NFL ready of the bunch. He's really a physical specimen. He's insanely strong. He runs a 4.38 40, 41-inch vertical jump. So it allows him to play like he's 6'4", even though he is just 6'1". At the line of scrimmage, he can run by or run through press coverage just because of how strong he is. He reminds me a lot of AJ Brown in terms of once he makes a catch, he's just incredibly tough to bring down. He set the single season SEC record for receiving yards and touchdowns. And of those 20 touchdowns, 14 of them came of receptions that were 20 or more yards. So he's a true deep threat guy that I can see his game translating great to the NFL immediately. If you look at Justin Jefferson, who was his teammate in 2019, he was the number two guy on that LSU Tigers offense. And in his rookie campaign, he put up 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns. So in my opinion, the sky's kind of the limit for Jamar Chase's potential in the league. So
if I'm going to spend a top 10 pick on a receiver, I just want someone that moves different than everybody else on the field. And that's exactly what Waddle is. I think he's way more versatile than your typical deep threat guy like, Henry Ruggs or John Ross. Honestly, I think he's the best deep threat and the best yards after the catch receiver in the class. The way he races angles after the catch is just incredible. And if you look at the first 4 games this year, Waddle outproduced Smith. He had 557 yards compared to 483 for Waddle and 22.3 yards per catch. So I just want to bag on his athleticism if I'm taking a receiver in the top 10.
So for me, for my money, if I'm taking a receiver in the top 10, I want the guy that's not just the best guy on his team, which Smith was over Waddle over the larger sample. I know Waddle did outproduce him in those 4 games. We do have to remember that Waddle was running the vast majority of his routes in the slot, while Smith proved to be an inside-outside threat. And then when you compare Smith to Chase, now, obviously Chase doesn't play last year. He opts out. Smith goes on to, have a record-setting season. If you look at Smith's yards after the catch, about 2 more yards after the catch per reception than Chase. But for me, I don't want just a guy who's the best guy on his team or in his class. I want the guy who's one of the best receivers among the thousands and thousands of receivers that have ever set foot on the field. Devonta Smith, just the 4th wide receiver in world history to win the Heisman Trophy. One of those receivers was Tim Brown. He's in the NFL Hall of Fame. So give me a 1 in 3 shot at a Hall of Fame receiver. I'll take it.
All right. One thing I have to bring up with Waddle, just because it's nuts. He had 51.3 yards per target on go routes in his career. And he also averaged 30.4 yards per target on all explosive routes. Number 2 in the class was Kadarius Toney, and a full 10 yards behind him at 20.4. He also averaged 9.8 yards after the catch in his career, which is the highest in the PFF era. Then if you look at just yards per route run for the career, that's from the PFF draft guide. Waddle was at 3.57, Chase was 3.12, and Smith was 3.1. So I know they have the counting stats over Waddle, but on a per route basis, he was more efficient than the 2 of them.
Kyle?
Yeah, I'd just like to throw out that Jamar Chase caught 24 of his 36 targets that were 20-plus yards, which is the most college player ever, according to Pro Football Focus, since I've been keeping track of that. He won the Bill Knopf Award, nation's top receiver, unanimous All-American. I do think he would have been in the Heisman contention had he not been teammates with Joe Burrow that year. So I think that maybe he could join Devonta Smith in that category right there.
Yeah, and for me, I compare Smith a little more to Chase than to Waddle. I think Smith kind of proved his worth over Waddle by not only the ability to go inside, outside, and what he did winning the Heisman last season. I know Waddle did get hurt, but that, if you're going to say Waddle's helping Smith, clearing out space for him, you have to look at how well Smith played, even with Waddle not there. Now, as far as Chase, you look at Smith and what he did leading the team in market share as a junior with Jerry Jeudy, with Henry Ruggs, with Waddle there. Now, that's impressive. Market share is one of the biggest predictors of NFL success. But then you come to this year and look how well Smith developed. And everyone will say Smith is the best route runner of the three. And so I just think when you're taking these guys, and it is close, you're looking to minimize the risk. And because Chase sat out, he didn't get to run another 500 routes. He didn't get to develop his craft the way Smith did. And so I just think you have a little more, less risk, with Smith. And everyone's going to bring up his frame, but I agree. It's a rare thing. It's an outlier. But that also raises his degree of difficulty. It's hard to do what Smith did to be the fourth receiver ever to win the Heisman when you're 166 pounds and you can put weight on. When you get to the NFL, he's 6'1". He's taller than Waddle. He's around the same size as Chase. He will be able to put weight on. I just think that Devonta Smith, least risk, proven best receiver, best route runner, most translatable to the NFL. But we shall see. It's likely that Chase will be it's likely Chase will end up being the first guy taken in the draft. That doesn't always mean he's the best receiver, but for more on the NFL draft, be sure to visit actionnetwork.com and download the award-winning Action Network app.